Hi guys, it's Oli from Rad Season. I'm excited to be joined today by novelty sports enthusiast Julia Galvin. Julia has competed almost 20 times in the bog snorkeling world championships, as well as competing in the world wife carrying championships and the bog snorkeling mountain biking championships as well. Julia, thanks for coming on the show today.
No trouble. How are
And
you today?
whereabouts are you at the moment, Julia?
I'm in a local literary centre here in Listowel called the Shanachie. So I said I'd get away from the cats and the dogs.
Good stuff. And yeah, I mean, whereabouts did you grow up? It'd be great to get a bit of an understanding of how you got into these sports.
Yeah, well, I was born in England. I was of Irish parents, and I was there until I was 6.5, 7. And then we moved back to look after my granddad back to Ireland after my granny passed away. So we looked after granddad, and we've been there ever since. So I have strange twangs in the accent, so that's where it comes from.
Okay. Yeah. And so you were. I went to the bog snorkeling world championships in Wales last year, and you were there as well. Is that right?
Yeah. I may have spoken to you. Although I had to get away quickly because I was going to China. Well, there's a bit of an action drop. So I was first in. It was my 20th year at bog snorkeling. I was first in and had to get away up to North Wales to catch a boat, to catch a plane to go to China. So
wow. What were you doing over in China?
Wife carrying competition.
Okay.
That was their first wife carrying competition in China. So I went over there with a gang of international crazy sports stars and had a great time. Yeah, before all their trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. How, where did this all begin? What was the? Yeah.
Yes. What was the key elements to leading to all this? Well, when I was about 25, I was in a slight accident, and again when I was about 27, small accident, but it left me with kind of a whiplash in my back and sciatica going down both my legs, which gave me scoliosis, and I was in terrible pain. I was on 16 tablets a day when I was 27.
Wow.
I had a zimmer frame. I couldn't walk. I was in hospital. So everything, I didn't think there was too much for me in this life. And after about 2 years of lying down, I decided that I had to start taking action. So I got some swimming lessons, and because they told me that I needed an operation. So I said, I need to learn to swim in order to be able to rehabilitate after this operation. I got into the hospital, and this was after being 27 days in another hospital. They brought me to the orthopedic hospital, and the nurse looked at my medication and she said, sorry, dear, there's no operation for you because you're on too much medication. So at that point, I was looking at the Guinness Book of Records, waiting for my father to pick me up from the hospital. And on one page, I know it was a left-hand side page, there was this guy coming out of the bog, and he was at the World Championships of bog snorkeling. Now, I live in a bog, and there's no way that we were ever allowed to go out into the bog on our own. We certainly wouldn't have swam in it. I probably would know my way how to walk across it, whereas we'd say people who weren't native to bogs wouldn't have a clue how to walk across them without sinking. So we were always warned against bogs and bog holes and keep away from them. And when I saw this, I said to myself, my goodness, look at him swimming in a bog hole, and I'm learning to swim. Look at me. And I said, if I ever walk again, I'm going to go bog snorkeling. But the thing of it is, at this point, I was still on a lot of medication, so it could have been the medication that was influencing my mind at the point. But I came out, and the following week on the television, I saw bog snorkeling championships on the television. Now, I'd never heard of them in all my years. I'd never heard of them, and all of a sudden, twice in a week, I'd heard about bog snorkeling, and I turned to my father and said, I'm going to do that. And that was the first time I had actually spoken it out loud to anybody. And so I think he humored me, because at that point I still had a zimmer frame and twisted and turned. And he just said, yes, dear. And but from that day onwards, I decided it was in '98, and nobody had the internet then. So I had to ring a friend of mine who worked in a big company in London to find out, can he find out anything about bog snorkeling on this thing called the internet? So it was all dial-up and things at that point as well. So he got back to me after a couple of days, and he told me all about it. And he got me a phone number. So then I rang Gordon Green, the guy that runs the bog snorkeling and invented bog snorkeling in Wales, all about it. And he said, oh, well, that won't be on for another 11 months. He said, you're a bit early. I said, well, if you could send me an application form, that would be marvelous. So it gave me a motivation to carry on with my swimming. I hadn't swam before that. I was 27, had never swam. And within 6 lessons, I had learned how to swim the length of a pool. Now, my first lesson consisted of me more or less crawling along a wall, holding onto a wall through the car park, because I couldn't hold myself up straight. And within 6 lessons, even though I was going in on crutches, I could swim the length of a pool. So I took to it like a duck to water, you could say, Oli. Yeah. So,
that's amazing. And then, so after you did it for the first time, how was that? What was that experience like?
The experience, bog snorkeling. Well, yeah. I suppose before I threw myself in, literally, I did some bog snorkeling in my own bog at home just to see what it was like. And still, the fear factor, like this water, excuse me, is black, dark. You can't see anything. It's like swimming through tea. And then once you stir up the sediment, it's like swimming through kind of oxtail soup. You just find it difficult to get through there. But it's cold. You can it's like snorkeling. You hear sounds in your breathing and in your ears from underwater that you would be used to in the air. There's a different way of breathing. You can hear your breathing. The cold rushes into your wetsuit, and at that time, I got my friend to tie a rope around me whilst I snorkeled. Even though I had only just learned to snorkel a couple of weeks beforehand, I decided, well, I still haven't trusted this bog. Even though I've lived there all my life, I wouldn't trust it. So I got a rope. So I was snorkeling with a rope around me, a bit like, I don't know, something like an animal on a leash. Yeah. That was the exciting day. And then I went to Wales. I went to Wales. It kind of kicked off a little bit around here. It was kind of like leading a very normal kind of invalid's life. You know, I was kind of not able to do anything for myself, dependent on my father for everything. And all of a sudden, radio stations wanted to talk to me, and newspapers and all sorts of things. So I was kind of like really thrown in, we say, literally into the deep end of all of this. And so I ended up being sponsored by Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream to go to Wales, where they were the main sponsors. And there was radio stations over here following my every move. I'd been on an airplane, hadn't been on an airplane. No, I didn't. I did go on an airplane that year. Hadn't been on an airplane for years. Led a very quiet life, and all of a sudden I was kind of thrown in. And but I suppose I was very lucky, you know, we'd say, that I could walk. You know, this was the following August, so 12 months had passed. So I'd learned to swim, I'd learned to walk, and I'd learned to snorkel. And my time was now, and it was then, and that was in 1999. And I haven't looked back since.
Amazing. And is that something? So you've done 20, and like, did you do them? Were they all kind of close together? Was that like, you know, every year you would go back? Or?
Every year. I came second. From not being able to walk in '98, I came second in the Ladies World Championships in '99, my first go out. But I suppose, you know, we say the age has moved on a long time every year since, and there's people, Commonwealth swimmers and all sorts of people and all sorts of lifeguards coming in. So yeah. I'm just pleased that I can actually do it now. But my big thing was, though, about 2004, 5 years later, I went on and I took part in the Ladies Mountain Bike Bog Snorkeling Championships, which is a different race, and I came first on that. So I'm Ladies World Champion Mountain Bike Bog Snorkeler 2004.
Amazing. And is that run by the same? That's run by Green Events as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
that normally goes on in June. June. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. June or July.
I know they've got some amazing, pretty wacky events that they.
Yeah. There's the man versus horse race, which they're famous for, and that's all to do with long distance running, though, 22 miles, I think, uphill and down dale. I think they were trying to decide which could go faster over rough terrain. Was it a horse or a man? It's a person. And people have won it a couple of times. I think a Kenyan has won it. And so it's quite a big race for long distance runners. But it's mostly horses that win. But I think there's a lot of money for the people that do actually win the long distance run on the man versus horse race. And then there's the World Alternative Games as well. Now, Llanwrtyd Wells, Llanwrtyd Wells, is the smallest town in Britain. I'll leave you that so you can Google it. It's the smallest town in Britain, so it's famous for all these races. And some of these races, the town, which has about 600 people, doubles in size, that they have to limit on the amount of entrants. So I've really taken that village to my heart, and likewise back, vice versa. So I love it over there. So
that's great. And when so going on from I'm from bog snorkeling, then were you sort of looking at other more unusual sporting events?
It's funny thing, once you get a taste for it now, we'd say, being the big woman that I am, I'm not able to go Everest or, long distance running or anything like that, or not at the moment anyway. But so I take part in sports that I can take part in. I think you had my weird sports friend Sol Neilman there. He was speaking about how he found the Olympics boring, but the weird sports were fantastic because everybody can have a go. There's no one to stop you. So in 2002, we'll say a newspaper article had written about me on the bog snorkeling, and it said other strange sports around the world include wife carrying in Sonkajärvi, Finland. And I goes, that sounds like a good fun place. And it said you win the woman's weight in beer. Now I'm probably about 3 times the size of any normal woman, and probably about 4 times the size of a wife carrying woman. So so I thought this might be worth winning, even though I don't drink. I thought myself, might be incentive for somebody. I thought it'd be a bit of a laugh. I said, we say to see the big woman doing the wife carrying race. Only the trouble was trying to find a man to carry me. So I was on the television, found one chap, but he was okay online. But when I met him, we didn't click at all. And I thought, I went to a foreign country, foreign language. This isn't going to work. So we parted ways very early. So then I had to find a sponsor, which I got a sponsor from Paddy Power. They're a betting company here, and internationally. But they sponsored me, and we found a man, a strong man, one of the official strongmen of Ireland. His name was Jason O'Reilly, but he was just starting a new job as I think as a postman or something, so he couldn't take time off. So now, at this point, I was 20 stone. He was able to put me on his forearm and put me sitting up there. And he said, this would make a great picture. This would make a great photograph. But as eager as we both were to go, he couldn't go because of holiday restrictions and things. But so I ended up finding my friend Paul Roberts. And in fact, I met him at the airport with minutes to go before checking in. I hadn't a clue about the chap, had no notion about him at all. That's 2003, and we're the best of all buddies since. I've been to his wedding and everything. So it's I've had a great time, great friendship with Paul and his wife Marion down through the years.
Amazing. I mean, what are the actual rules? And
the rules of wife carrying.
Yeah.
Well, the woman has to be 17 years of age and upwards. They have to be a minimum of 49 kilos. There's 2 dry obstacles of 80 centimeters, and then there's a meter deep water obstacle, and it's maybe about 5-7 meters long. So so it's cold, even though it's summertime in Finland and it's sunny all day round, for 24-hour sunshine. The water obstacle is very, very cold, and it's the first thing that you go into. Now, I've been lucky enough for it's been strange. I've come across lots and lots of world champions in it. So like there's been world champions like Thais Tobietanen and Christina. They won it a good few times. They were from Finland. There's Madis Usorg, Margot Usorg, Joni Untonen, the local champion. John Lund from America. He takes part most years as well. And the current one, now hopefully I'll get this, Vai Tautas and his wife Naringa. They've won it for the last 2 years. They're from Lithuania, and they're a fantastic couple as well. Yeah. So now these people are very, very slight and very, very fit. No, we say the women are trying to make it up to 49 kilos, which is just about 100 pounds or 7 stone 1 or 2 or something. Just before the race. So they have all their tricks of the trade as well. They drink a lot of water, and just to make it up to the 49 kilos at weigh-in. I never had to drink the water, but I've never won the beer either. But anyway, that's another story.
And what's the town like where it takes place?
The town is lovely, and they take very good care of all their foreign dignitaries. So they will assign you somebody that speaks English and Finnish. So you don't have to worry. But the majority of people that are, we say, from the age of 15 to 70, they all speak a good level of English. We'd say. So you won't die. And there's a lot of English signs and things like that. But it's good for the first year to get an English guide as such.
Yeah.
It's been good. So that's an interesting race as well. There's different ways you can get carried. So when I went with Paul the first year, he piggybacked me because I didn't know any other way to do it. But when we got there, we seen the Estonians carry their women upside down, and it's a very interesting carry. So the women are carried more or less like backpacks upside down.
Right.
So in 2007, Margot Usor came out of retirement to carry me that way. So I think you might have a picture of me and Margot on the thing now. Because I'm so big in the front, I couldn't really grab him around the waist as such. But to look at the smaller contestants, they have a very interesting way of holding onto their own ankles, which is a modified Estonian position, where so the man can actually use his 2 arms to run more freer. I think at the minute the last race was 66 seconds for 253 meters.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Are they wearing helmet? Are you wearing helmets? And
a helmet, yeah. And if you don't make the grade of 49 kilos, you have to wear kind of lead weight bags, kind of made of lead shot in bags, and you strap them onto you. Where I've seen an Irish woman there, Aoife Desmond, what she did when she didn't make the weight, she taped the weights onto her legs rather than carrying it as a backpack, so then there was less movement. That was an interesting way. There's tricks of the trade. And I have this feeling I'll see you there next year.
Oh, really? Yeah. So unfortunately, it was cancelled.
Yes, it was cancelled this year, but onwards and upwards now for next year. So
yeah. And now, like, do you sort of see that there's, I guess, like a mini explosion with these different events in other parts of the world? Wasn't there like there's a bog snorkeling event in Australia, and then you said the wife carrying over in China?
Yeah. I've bog snorkeled in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales, some boggy Finnish lakes, but I've also bog snorkeled in Australia, Julia Creek. They run a great event up there called the Dirt and Dust Festival. Now, if you're into triathlons, they have the most amazing triathlon. You swim in this river with freshwater crocodiles, and you cycle for your 25 kilometers, and then you do your 5 kilometers down in searing heat. It must be up to about 40 degrees heat. There's Margie Ryder there in Dirt and Dust. They run a fantastic event over there, and Brad Bevins, he's the world champion of triathlon. I met him there at one point as well. So it's amazing. So the amount of world champions I know, which it's not right, it's people like me aren't meant to be hanging around with world champions, but like these people are world champions. I won't deny myself I'm a world champion in my own right, but these people have worked hard and very, very hard to be where they are. Yeah.
And do you think that's one of the appeals, like with these type of events, that it's the people that take part and it's the community?
Yeah.
Is that something that would appeal? I mean, like, is that what you like about it? And
well, it's kind of like I was, we say it's I'm funny because say I see there. I'm a teacher myself, and what I see in schools these days, if people just give out medals willy-nilly to children just because they participated. Back when I was running my race, I always came last, but I always respected the people who came first. That they were the farmers' daughters that ran after cows on a daily basis. And I never begrudged anybody winning anything. And I don't believe in giving children a medal or a token just because they participated. It took me what, 34 years to become a world champion. It's the options there for everybody. You just got to find your right sport.
That's great. And is there anywhere that you're now like that's been on your bucket list that you've always wanted to do, either an event or somewhere?
Yeah, I've been threatening this one on the Austrian, I think or somewhere in the Alps anyway. There's this one called arse sledding, it's called, where you slide down a mountain in lederhosen in the snow. But it's kind of like sometimes I have to build my I don't know. It's kind of like I have to feel the fear and do it anyway. It's kind of like I'm not great with heights and I'm not great with snow. So, but I think I'll give it a shot anyway at some point or another. I'd like to do. We say it's a very far off thing now, but I wouldn't mind doing the bog snorkeling triathlon at some point or some part of it. Mm-hmm. Or maybe in my wildest dreams, the Julia Creek Dirt and Dust Festival triathlon as well. There are two options for me. So it's kind of you never know when something's going to come up. Like even when I'm over in Julia Creek, there was these things like cowpack throwing. I wasn't expecting that. Fly swatting. I go to Corofin in Ireland every May weekend. We have a bank holiday here the first weekend of May, and they have this thing called the International World Stone Throwing Competition.
Okay.
Like it's a small, tiny village, maybe 200 or 300 people in it, maybe more. I haven't counted them, but it's a small village, maybe 2 or 3 pubs, a supermarket, and a restaurant, a hostel, and nothing much going on except that it's a little stop off for tourism on the way to North Clare. And so in order to pay for their Christmas lights, in May, they sell idiots like me 3 stones for €5 in order to throw them at an upturned bottle. It's called the Festival of Finn, Finn. And you throw them at the bottle, and you're maybe about 4 meters away. You throw it. If you crack the bottle, you get into the next round, and you keep going until you're into the final, and you can crack this wine bottle that's upturned on a metal stick. And so I've entered that one. I've entered the what else have I entered? The Christmas tree throwing. That goes on in County Clare as well, which is my neighbouring county across the water, River Shannon. Mm-hmm. So I've done that one as well. What else have I done? I've probably done things that I've forgotten about, that I'm so kind of stuck on the bog snorkeling and wife carrying and stuff, so yeah. So yeah, that's the main pastimes.
That's amazing. And is there anything that sort of stands out? Any sort of crazy stories or something unusual? I mean, the events are pretty unusual in themselves, but between like bog snorkeling, any particular year? Or?
I don't know. It's kind of like it's like Finnish people always talk they don't talk about emotions, they talk about feelings. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, and there's a great feeling of emotions, you'd say, in Finland when it's bright all night. It could be this bright all night in Finland, and just going after the race, because everybody's more relaxed after the race, and they'll have a few beers, and they'll sit around a campfire and swim at midnight, because it could be any time of day. So it's all good fun over there. But yeah, so that's it. And then with the bog snorkeling, I suppose the day that I won the World Championship, still means a lot. Yeah.
That's great. Any advice that you would give people that are looking to either to try one of these sports for the first time?
Yeah, life is very short. Give it a go. Yeah.
That's it. I know when I did it, like, it was the first time. Yeah, when I did bog snorkeling last year, and it was amazing.
Yes.
I wanted to come back this year, but hopefully I'll be back next year when it's on again.
Lovely. What time did you do?
I can't remember now. I'm looking back at it. I think I was. I competed under Australian. So as an international, I think I don't know. I was like maybe like second or third international.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah, so I was happy with that. Yeah, but it was good fun. I know, like, sort of, pacing yourself should have been one of those things. And you look at it and you're like, okay, just sort of getting to the end and finishing the second lap. That was
yeah. When the end is inside. Here's another thing. I've been an elf in Finland as well. Elf in Lapland for Santa Claus. That was another pastime, and I did that for a couple of weeks there, maybe about 7 years ago. Yeah, and I went. I was up there. Yeah, I spent about 2 or 3 weeks as an elf, and then I went to Australia to commentate on a race, the wife carrying race in Geraldton over there. So and Western Australia I have a soft spot there as well, because of the there was a guy that was over there. I don't know, did you come across him at all? He was called Prince Leonard, and he had his own country called the Hutt River Principality. And I think they've closed it at the moment now. Do you know, it's, I think, for upkeep and repairs. But I represent them at international sports as well. And Prince Leonard, he passed away last year, but he made me a Dane for representing Hutt River Principality at international sport. So that's that's another highlight of my life. Yeah, so that's it.
And are you?
And then I went to China. Yeah, the Chinese race was good last year as well. I didn't take, the Chinese men are very small, so they didn't really get to carry me. And one guy carried me about 50 meters or something, but I took part anyway and had good fun representing Ireland and Europe and the rest of the world.
Was there many countries represented?
There was America, and John Lund and Paris and Leah came from America, and there was Estonia, and there was Finland, England, and me, from Ireland. So that was it. It's good fun.
That's great.
But very warm. We're warm and dry, but and the mountains were quite high as well.
And do they take it? Do they look at the course? Is it something similar to what they do in Finland? They kind of.
I think they were doing their best to try and copy it. You know, I'd be worried about the Finns that the Chinese would really try and take it over. You know, but so they'd want to keep an eye on their public relations. But the people in Sonkajärvi are very, very savvy. Very savvy. They know exactly what they're doing. They have their branding out there, and so their international relationships are very, very, very good. But the Chinese, I suppose, being as industrious as they are, they'll chance their arm and say.
Amazing. Great. Well, if people are trying to get hold of you, what's the best way of getting in touch?
I don't know. I suppose my email is bogchick@gmail.com. 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 I'm on Twitter. I don't know my name on Twitter, but anyway, if you look up, I'm sure we can put a link onto this anyway. Twitter, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Yeah, so I'm on all those things. I didn't bother with Snapchat. I'm too old for Snapchat.
Oh, good. Well, thanks, Julia. It's been great speaking to you.
Very good. Hello, everybody.
Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to seeing you next year at Bogsonko.
Very good. Excellent. See you then.
Bye.